Hi. Today we are talking to Dana Magdasi, an Israeli lawyer representing intended parents in surrogacy abroad. Hi, Dana.
Hello.
We are talking today about the post-birth process in surrogacy abroad. First of all, what is the post-birth process?
When the intended parents are Israeli, we're talking about a legal process that would start at when the surrogate is 14 weeks pregnant. When the surrogate is 14 weeks pregnant, we will apply on the name of the intended parent a DNA test warrant in the family court in Israel. The way to obtain an Israeli citizenship would be through the citizenship law. So it means that each Israeli is the child of an Israeli is an Israeli citizen automatically. But because the child is born outside of Israel and during a surrogacy arrangement, the Israeli government would like to make sure that the child is genetically linked to the intended parent, which is Israeli. So what we're doing, once we receive the verdict with the warrant for the DNA test, the parent will give blood in Israel lab before birth. Just after birth, once arranging all the documents, once we have a birth certificate for the child authenticated by an apostille, and the surrogate mother already went to the embassy and gave her consent, relinquishing the rights over the baby, we can have a DNA test for the baby, which will be done at the Israeli embassy abroad. The test is very simple. It's just like a swab test. The consul would do it. The Israeli consul abroad would do it. And the DNA sample will be sent by FedEx to Israel to the same lab that the intended parents left their blood sample. It takes about 10 days, and then the lab will have the match with the blood retrieved from the surrogate, from the intended parents at the 14 weeks, and with the DNA test of the child. Once we have a comparison, the DNA test lab will send the results to the family court in Israel, and the judge will have a verdict saying that this child is genetically linked to an Israeli parent, and then the Ministry of Interior will send us an okay to get the Israeli passport in the embassy abroad. Once the child has obtained an Israeli passport, he can come back home safely.
What are the possible difficulties in such situations? What are the obstacles?
Sometimes it takes longer to obtain these kind of documents because in order to have the DNA test abroad, the surrogate mother must give her consent for this procedure. So it could be, if we're talking about a premature baby, so we cannot obtain the consent right away because we have to take the child from the hospital to the embassy, and this is not easy when it's a premature child. If we have a C-section for the surrogate mother or her condition is deteriorating after birth, you cannot take her just right away, and it could be like a week or 10 days should pass by for the time we can take her to the embassy for her consent. In this case, it postpones a lot the DNA test. So it could be postponing the coming back of the parents from abroad. Many cases, it's around a month since the time the child is born until the time we obtain an Israeli passport for the child. A month is a good time, but like you said, there are obstacles like surrogate mother hospitalization longer, premature babies. Sometimes the birth certificate has a different name on the birth certificate, like a misprint, so you have to send the birth certificate for correction. All these things might take long time. Sometimes FedEx could lose your DNA test. It could take long time. Sometimes the surrogate mother gives birth on a summer recess of the course, so you have only one judge for 20, 30 cases a day. That could take some time. All these obstacles could install and take a little bit more time for the intended parents to come back, but they will not prevent them to come back. It will just take a little bit longer.
And finally, when exactly is the baby considered the legal child of the intended parents?
The surrogate mother is not genetically linked to the child, so is not the legal guardian of the child at any time. Most of the countries, the birth certificate of the child will come out on the intended parent's name and not on the surrogate mother name. Also, registry arrangements that in countries that it's legal, actually once the child is born, he is handed to the intended parent, and from that moment they are the legal guardian and the legal parents of the child. So actually, the child is not the surrogate mother is not the legal guardian or not the legal parents of the child at any time.
Dana Magdasi, an Israeli lawyer representing intended parents in surrogacy abroad. Thank you for talking to us today.